What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Ladies and gentlemen, it is the King and I Life podcast. Sunso Lex. Can barely hear you, brother. Cut up your volume. Cut up your volume. Oh my. Oh my. I don't know if the people can hear you. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Let's see if I could do a little finagling here. Cause we are live, brother. We live. Let me see. Say something. Let me see. Say something. Let me see. I think we got a little bit of volume, but I'm not sure out there in the world. If anybody's tuning in, let me know if you can hear Sunso Lex out there. Say something, man. Say something.
Hey, people, what's good with the people? What's good with the people?
Can you hear Sunso Lex, ladies and gentlemen? Let me know in the chat, please. We are experiencing a few technical difficulties out here in this world of technology, but we're gonna make it happen the best we can. But with that being said, welcome back to the King and I Life podcast. It's another great Wednesday, and as always, it is a pleasure for us to be out here with y'all. We got some good things popping off, but first and foremost, definitely hit us up on www.KingAndEyeLife.com. That's the website. You can find all our podcast information on there. You can register to be a guest on the podcast. You can also leave reviews. You can watch. There's links to our YouTube videos, podcasts, and definitely tune into whatever podcast platform that you subscribe to and all that good stuff. Sunso Lex, what you got for the people?
Yes, sir. As always, you guys can reach out to us at the King and I 369 at gmail.com. If you guys want to send us an email, again, that's KingAndEye 369 at gmail.com.
And there you have it. With that being said, how's your day been going so far? Other than this, this debacle.
I've been going through it, bro. But it is what it is. You gotta take that bad days with the good.
True that.
How's everything going your way?
Everything been going good for me, man. I had my colonoscopy today. That went pretty well. Yeah, they found 2 polyps. They removed those, so just gotta wait for the results from that. That's about it. True that. Yo, I can hear you. I can barely hear you, but I can hear you. So we gonna make it work the best we can. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything I could do on my end. You need to get an iPhone. That's what it is.
I don't know about that one.
I'm just saying it might work out better for you.
Maybe.
But yeah, so I guess we can man, it'd be lovely to hear you better on here, but hey, we're gonna have to do what we do.
All right. So let me call you right back on my iPhone.
All right. In the meantime, while he's doing that, ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome to the King and I Life podcast. We are uh, having technical difficulties, but we're gonna rock with the show because, like I said, life willing, we're gonna bring it to you. Um, let me see. Yeah, we took a break, a short break, from our regular podcast due to I was down at the Purple Gala a couple weeks ago. Fabulous event, fabulous outcome, fabulous movement. So if you are um, interested in that, stay tuned. We are the official podcast connection for your information for the Purple Gala and stuff like that. So definitely tune into that. Hey, while we're having technical difficulties, let me just throw it out there. If any of our listeners out there would like to guest host with me tonight, um, send me your email address so I can send you the link, bring you on, so that we can definitely have this conversation more than a one-sided thing with just my thoughts. Um, Type that up in the chat right quick. Yo, yo,
Yo, can you hear me now?
I can hear you a little better.
No, hell.
Oh,
This is an iPhone, I tell you. This is an iPhone.
Lord. I don't know.
A dead phone or something out here. I don't know what the heck it is.
I don't know what it is out there, boy. You gotta get out them sticks. Yeah, but I can hear you a little better.
All right, cool. We'll run with it like this, man.
Right. So I was just telling them about, we took a break, little break from our regular episodes and stuff like that. But we're gonna get back on track. Um, oh yeah. I definitely want to give a shout out to the Chicken and Rice podcast. Go check them out on YouTube.
Definitely. They are hilarious, man.
Yes, I
I
just
like
listened
it.
to one of their episodes earlier.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, matter of fact, I listened to it yesterday. Um, and they were and they were kind of like they were kind of talking about some of the stuff that is kind of going to be in this episode. So that's going to be cool.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I want to give another shout out to my man Justin Featherstone, OLOT, One Love 1000 podcast. He's on the second episode on YouTube, so go definitely go check him out. I'm gonna try to get him to be a guest on here soon. He's doing a lot of great things out there. He's been stomping for a minute, so go check out Justin OLOT Parking Lot Podcast. Um, and other than that, man, we gonna get into it.
For sure.
All right, so today's topic, we chopping it up. We're going to talk about intra and intercultural contradictions. Today's society is on an elevated level of sensitivity and political correctness, sometimes at the detriment of others. Let's chop it up about some of the obvious things that cause unnecessary drama and division amongst us all. At the end of the day, these issues cause cultural contradictions, which, when you really think about it, can be a little bit overboard. Um, you got any input on that so far?
Yes, sir. It's really out of hand right now, as they say. I mean, there's so many things that they're showing on the news, but they're not showing on the news. So it makes it very difficult to decipher everything, what's real and what's not. And yeah, we'll
So it
definitely
makes
get
it
into
very
it.
difficult to
Decipher everything, what's real and what's not.
true that. True that. And that's a problem because um you it's a problem because a lot of people just don't know how to handle just how do I want to put it? They don't know how to handle just being real with themselves, and they want people to align with some of these agendas that sometimes just really don't make a lot of sense.
Thing about it all is, it's kind of like a book that you read. It's on you to decide if it's a good book or not. Just because someone recommended it to you and said, "Man, that's a good book," but it's really not a good book until you read it and decide and get what it is that you need out of that book, and just let the rest of it go. So that's kind of
Exactly.
like yeah, right now.
Yeah, that's true. That is very, very, very true. Um, so the first question that we want to throw out there is, what comes to your mind when you think of cultural contradictions?
Oh man, oh. I'm gonna pick up on that one first because I was thinking about that earlier, and my mind was like everywhere on that one. So I'll let you spit that one out first.
um, for me, when I think about cultural contradictions, it's it's one of those things where, for instance, our people, we have a problem with a lot of things that other people might say, other people might do, or um things of that nature, but it's okay when we do it amongst ourselves. And for me, you know I feel like if you don't want other people doing these things, regardless of your race, your gender, or whatever the case may be, don't promote it or glorify it amongst yourselves, because you really can't get mad, you know, when people say and do certain things. I do understand it, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like, treat people how you want to be treated, and present yourself how you want people to respect you or treat you. And I don't see the difficulty in doing that.
The thing about it is, again, I kind of feel like we're programmed. A lot of people like want to blame other people for the state that we're in right now, directly, but I think at some point you have to look at everything you've learned, from the time you were a child to the time you are now. And sometimes you have to take the educational aspect out of it and just use your common fucking sense.
Right.
So again, the thing that I'm pointing out here is, if you've been taught, to immediately feel a certain way about other individuals, even though you never walked in their shoes or lived their lives, or, you don't have a taste of what it is that they've gone through or their family members have gone through, then it's kind of like you can't connect to that. So that's part of the program. But when you step back and you uh, kind of try to put yourself into those people's shoes, meaning look through their eyes and try to break down the fabric of how um, life is for that particular group of people, then and only then can you kind of get where it is that they're coming from. And I'm talking across the board, no matter what race you are, or what sex you are, or whatever the case may be. It's kind of like you can't assume anything about anyone because you don't know them.
Right. But you know, one of the things about it is, um, at times you don't have to necessarily be a rocket scientist to understand certain things. Um, and sometimes you don't necessarily have to be of that particular background or whatever to know certain things. Like for instance,
Right.
I don't know the struggle of Asians in America. Um, Certain people may say I have no right to speak on it because I've never been through it, but you know, discrimination is discrimination. Prejudice is prejudice. Racism is racism. Oppression is oppression. So I may not be able to speak on an individual's direct experience, but I can understand it on a broad scale. And I think some people make certain things just about themselves while they're trying to talk about the group in a whole.
Exactly. Exactly. The thing about it is everyone has different life experiences, and um, you can't go off of what you see on TV, whether it be news or movies or whatever the case may be. It still amazes me to this day that, like I said, when I was younger, I had friends who never came in contact with, indigenous people that looked like me.
Right.
Never came in contact with them. But they had already built up in their mind what it would be like to be friends with someone from my culture. And then when they came in contact with me, it was nothing like what they perceived in their head as far as their idea of what they thought people from my culture was like.
Right. I get it. So the next question is society becoming more inconsistent with its beliefs?
I think it is, man, because the thing about it is there's a time when, they said that church was the main focus of, family life and
Right.
your upbringing, you know, things along that line. But then we're at a place now where in society where it's kind of like all those morals that we had back then, they don't mean it as much nowadays, meaning respecting your elders or, treating the next man the way you would like to be treated or um, when it comes down to a person's personal beliefs, let them have their personal beliefs and just respect the fact that you have your own personal
Hmm.
beliefs. We don't have to agree on everything. We just have to agree that we respect each other enough to say, you do your thing, I do mine.
Right.
But again, a lot of I know that everything is supposed to change. We know that seasons come and seasons go, but it's kind of like we've lost that common ground of respecting each other.
Hmm.
So, so how do you feel about it?
Yeah. I can agree with that. Because yeah, it's just crazy how you know a lot of people say one thing, and they expect you to believe that it means what they're saying out their mouths, but sometimes their actions show different, or their actions are their actions are presenting what it's supposed to be, but what they're saying out their mouth is different. And then on top of that, you have a lot of people out there who are just going along just to go along, and and they're causing this thing to where they're forcing society to accept a whole bunch of unacceptable nonsense, which is even more crazy to me. So, how is this affected by social media and technology, including television? I know you briefly talked about the news.
Um, I think right now people want to accept political correctness,
Hmm.
but they want to pick and choose what's politically correct.
Right.
Like the whole thing with Dave Chappelle right now.
Oh my
Like
goodness. Yeah.
he made so many good points about people in general, how we're being treated, and how certain groups of people are being treated. But people are more offended because he hurt a certain group of people's feelings about what he was saying, when in fact he was, well, let's sticking up for this community.
Mm-hmm.
But they only heard what they wanted to hear, and so on and so forth. And again, I'm not saying that I agree with everything he said, but Dave Chappelle took a shot at everybody across the fucking board here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just be real about it. So it's kind of like no one was safe from that stand up. But again, we certain people, they just pick and choose what it is they want to hear, politically correct and what's not politically correct.
Right. So yeah, like when I was listening to the chicken and rice podcast yesterday, and they kind of touched on that part. You know, people hear what they want to hear. They don't listen to the whole thing.
Right.
And everybody's jumping on like with everything out there, they jump on clips and find issue with the clip instead of looking at the whole thing. Um, but you know, another issue with that is and we'll talk about this a little later.
Right.
Um, it's just crazy that it's it's I don't even know what to call it, but it's just crazy that people are jumping on comedy like it's so sinful these days, and it's like when you step back, you know, these people are making these public outcries and this, that, and the other. Yet, you know, when they're amongst their friends and stuff like this, they say the same exact things. And it's a big contradiction because it's like, how can you condemn this comedian for doing this, that, and the other? Yet when you with your friends, you are saying the same exact things.
Yep. It's kind of like they forgot all about this man's a comedian. But he's a comedian that makes you laugh, but he also makes you think. So it's kind of like they want the laughter part, but that whole thinking shit, no, you're not supposed to do that. We don't need that here. And that's, to me, it's the sad part about it. Um, again, he took a shot at everybody, including himself.
Right.
So it's kind of like no one was safe, but again, some people took it to heart and got into their feelings about it. He's a comedian, comedian here. It's kind of like you want to get mad at a clown for having big shoes and, crazy hair and paint on his face. He's doing what he's paid to do. One is to make you laugh, two, make you think, and three, to entertain you. And I think he did that regardless of, how some other people may feel. And again, I'm not defending him or saying that I agree with everything he said, but again, he made you think.
You know, I don't necessarily think people forgot that he's a comedian. I don't necessarily believe that people forget anybody's a comedian. I just think they just go overboard with their nonsense. Um, because again, if you look at it, you know, if people can and laugh and joke and say the same things amongst each other, then they really shouldn't have a problem with a comedian doing the same thing. Mind you, there are many television shows and movies that say the same thing, but there is no big outcry about that. And with that, I that's a big contradiction because if you're going to be mad about a comedian saying certain things, then you should be mad about how no matter what the group is, no matter what the group is, I'm not making this at any specific group, but
Right.
if you have a problem with a comedian saying certain things, then you should have a problem with it being in movies and TV shows and stuff like this. That to me is no difference.
No, none at all. I mean, for example, there are certain churches that are in this country who are notorious for molesting young boys,
Hmm.
but yet and still they still exist in this country.
Right.
They're still holding services. They're still in, taking in contributions and taking in, you know, everything that comes along with churches,
Hmm.
meaning tithes and so on and so forth.
Right.
Not paying taxes like the rest of us.
Right.
But so it's kind of like again they pick and choose what's a big deal and what's not.
Hmm.
I mean, in my personal opinion, I think any church, I don't give a damn who attends it or who's the minister over it. If you have done or your church has committed something like that, that church needs to be shut down.
Hmm.
And I'm not talking about all churches. I'm talking about the churches who we have legal documents saying that things of that nature happen.
Hmm.
Why are they still open? Like, well, we got rid of the person that did that, but you guys have pretty much gotten away with it for centuries,
Right.
documenting.
Hmm.
So again, it's oh man, that's to me. It's kind of like how come you see that or don't see that, but you see this.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
people are blind to the things that they want to be blind to, and being sensitive about the things that oh, you said something that hurt my feelings. Well, you know what? People have said things about me, for example, all my life to hurt my damn feelings. But you know what? I'm still fucking breathing.
Right.
It's not gonna stop me from doing what it is, that I'm supposed to do. So I don't know. I just think that people tend to get in their feelings a little too much sometimes. Like we've gone through so much as indigenous people of this land, and we're still doing it, still going through it. But everybody want to tell us, you're crying too much. You're making a big deal out of nothing. The same thing that's been going on, with us for hundreds of years now. It's still fucking going on.
Yeah.
But we're wrong for making light of it, or you know, not letting bygones be damn bygones.
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, so you got
Crazy.
again their feelings are being hurt when you still have a certain group of people within this country that they're still losing their lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really.
Definitely. So that takes us into the next thing. In your opinion, how obsolete are traditional views and values today, like common decency?
I'm sorry, say that again.
How obsolete are traditional views and values today, like for instance, common decency?
Oh man, Woo, that's a good question. It's damn near non-existent. To be honest with you, um, I'll give you an example. Think about what while you're out in traffic. Um, there used to be a time that if you let someone in, or they'll hail you and say, "Hey, thanks," or throw up a hand or something like that. Now people just either force their way in on you, and or if you just let them in, they don't think twice about thanking you for it. Like you did that because you realize, there's going to come a point where you're going to need somebody to let you out. But people nowadays, it's kind of like, whatever. Okay, so you let me in. So what? No, I didn't have to let you in. Or, for example, if you open up the door for people nowadays, Even though you're both going through the door, you open it up and let them walk through first. And it's kind of like no thank you or appreciate it or nothing. They just keep on going like you're a fucking slave there or something. You, you know what I mean? Like the traditional values that we once held in this country, they're slowly fading. You know, it's kind of like those of us who remember those days and still teach that to our kids
Mhm.
is few and far in between now.
Right. Um, I don't know. What area of the country or the planet you talking about when it comes to driving and stuff? But where I'm from,
Yeah.
it's either get in or get out, or get in or get left out in the cold because that traffic in New York is ridiculous. Um, I mean ridiculous. It's like if you're not fighting your way to get in, I don't care what size your car is. You could have a little a Mini Cooper or one of them little smart cars. If you ain't fighting to get in there, you gonna be stuck waiting. So, but I do agree that when it comes to that, people are more impatient. Like I work in DC, so sometimes I am driving and it's rush hour traffic, and you can see, traffic is at a sit still, and you got a car, four cars back honking a horn, and you looking like, why are they honking a horn when it's like, three cars in front of them that can't move? It's traffic in the intersection that ain't moving. It's like, why are you honking your horn? I don't get it. People are impatient, and that common decency and just respect when it comes to that is just crazy. Like I don't even know where I don't know where it went.
Yeah, it amazes me how many people be on their phone, meaning actually looking down at their phone instead of paying attention to traffic.
Hmm.
Or they could be in the fast lane on their phone. Like, dude, if you want to be on your phone like that, why not just get into the slow lane where, you're not holding people up? But
Or yeah, or just pull over.
yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know. It's just weird to me. Like, people don't mind cutting you off and then look at you like you crazy. Like,
Hmm.
what? I even had a guy cut me off one time and then give me the finger.
Yeah. The funny thing about that, I'm not gonna front because I sometimes be on my phone when I'm driving, but I be looking over at people and like they eyes be totally off the road, and I just be blown. Like, and I'd be like, damn, do I be doing that? Like, yo, do I have to check myself?
And again, I relate to you. I've been on my phone too, but I'm conscious enough to know that if I need to make a phone call or if I need to check my emails, I just go and pull over. Or again, I'll just get all the way over in the slow lane.
Right.
You know, evidently wherever it is I'm going, I'm not in a hurry to get there,
Hmm.
so I just adjust accordingly, as they say.
Right. 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 So let's talk about respect levels. And respect when it comes to elders. I think that is one of those things that has all but like dwindled and disappeared. People don't have a lot of respect for elders these days.
Hell no. No, man. I find that the older people, meaning the people around our age or in their 30s, have more respect for the people above them as well as the people younger than them
Hmm.
than actual the younger people. And I'm not taking anything away from the younger people because there are still a lot of the younger people who have who have respect for other people and who have been taught manners and things along that line. But I don't know. The weirdest thing that ever happened to me was I was in this grocery store one time,
Hmm.
and this lady was there with her grandkids, and one of them, which looked to be like the oldest one, he couldn't have been no more than 13, 14, something like that. Dude already had tattoos and was cussing like a sailor
With his grandmother?
with his grandmother and his younger two siblings.
Wow.
And I'm looking at this young child, and I'm thinking to myself, "Wow, times have really changed."
Mm.
Because I'm, well into my 40s,
Right.
and I can't even curse in front of my damn grandmama like that. Not even if I wanted to, without getting popped in the mouth.
Right. Right.
So it's I don't know, it's just totally different world now. It seems.
Um,
So,
Speaking on that, you want to know what blows my mind about that is, um, and this goes directly back to the type the topic of cultural contradictions. Um, how does a person make the conscious decision to treat elders like shit, but they treat their elders in their family well? Um, that part right there, I will never understand, because if you have a problem with elders, you have a problem with elders. Why do you pick and choose what elders you have a problem with, especially if it's an elder person that you don't even know? Like, you don't know this person, and you're treating them, you're not patient with them, you're nasty towards them, this, that, and the other, but yet you go hug grandma, kiss grandma on the cheek, give grandpa some dap, might bring him a bottle, a jack, or whatever the case may be. I don't get that.
man, it's crazy to me. I'll be honest with you, man, cause I have an associate, right?
Hmm.
And I'm not gonna name his name, but he brags about his father being scared of him.
What?
He brags about, his father and his mother, and everybody else being scared of him.
Hmm.
Like, he's a big dude. I'll give it to him. Um, I'd rather just go ahead and flash my flashlight on than to fight him. I put it to you like that.
Right.
But anyway, I'm thinking to myself as I'm hearing him brag about, my dad know not to f with me. I'll pick his ass up and all this and that. And I'm thinking to myself, this is your father, like the dude that gave you life, like, because there was an explosion in his nut bag, you hear,
Hmm.
uh, and you're bragging about how scared you got him.
That's
Like,
crazy.
what is your reasoning? Like,
Hmm.
what's your mind frame? Like, how in the hell is that supposed to impress other people? Like, what is that?
That's ridiculous, for real, for real.
Yeah, I'm like, and the cat is what? I think he's like 23, 24, and got three kids,
Hmm.
not married, no plans to be married. And I get that.
Right.
But the same way you're talking about your father, mind you, you got three kids that are coming up. So that same energy you're giving your father, don't be surprised if that same energy come back to haunt you with your kids.
Hmm. Yeah, that's crazy. So what about respect levels towards women?
Uh, the biggest part about that is women, certain women, they want respect, but they don't get respect.
Mm.
It's all about how you carry yourself.
Right.
You know, again, you feel like you're the queen of the world and you a bad bee and this and that, but how bad of a bee are you if no one likes you,
Right.
no one respects you? You know, there are plenty of good women out in the world, no doubt. But I think that there's certain women who want to claim that they're the queen of the world. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like they can't be touched by anybody. Again, man, we only have so certain number of days here on this planet. I'm not gonna waste my time. Or if I had a daughter, I would hope she would waste her time trying to be the baddest bee on this planet. It makes no sense. But
Yeah.
it, it's kind of like one of those things. Females, I respect them all regardless. You know, I just I'm aware of you treat certain females a certain way and other females you treat a different way
Hmm.
because not every female deserves the same amount of respect from you. Meaning, if you treat me with respect, I treat you with respect.
Right.
But if you're looking at me like I'm a peasant and you thinking you're royalty, you got this world fucked up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Again, you treat me how I treat you, and we good. But I don't know. So you gotta give respect in order to get respect. Now I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, the thing about it is, and I think it's interesting, borderline funny, how some women will disrespect each others, but they don't look at it as disrespect because they're friends and so on and so forth. But the minute that you join in on that fun or whatever, it's dead wrong. And again, in the broad scheme of things, that's part of these contradictions that happen every day. And it is mind blowing that we deal with these contradictions in that manner. Instead of people just, owning up to whatever it is and accepting it. It's like you can't pick and choose when you want to enforce your contradiction onto the world. You know, just be, I understand with time people change, people adapt, people adjust to this, that, and the other. But when it comes to those core things, I think it's crucial, critical, and important that you don't put on a facade just to do it.
Nope.
So how about respect level amongst men?
Uh, it's crazy to me, to be honest with you. For the most part, the men that I know, we treat each other like men with respect. Um, Here, being in the South, we hail each other even though we don't know each other.
Hmm.
But there are certain men I feel that um, I don't know, they think that they're above the rest of us
Right.
simply because of maybe their education or their income or I don't know. To me it seems like I'm trying to put it into to layman's terms here.
Hey, just put it in whatever terms.
Again, I come from the deep south, right? So we were raised that again, you treat a man with respect, he'll treat you with respect. Um, some of us we maintain our masculine frames, as they say, and then others they're not of that same mindset.
Hmm.
Meaning, I've seen grown men bully other grown men,
Mm.
and to me, that's so effed up. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
why would you bully another grown man? That to me is just that you childish.
Mm.
Because if a motherfucker come to me talking about bullying me, bruh, hey, do what you gotta do, but you're not gonna fucking bully me.
I think certain men have that only the strong survive mentality mixed up.
Yeah,
Um
dude.
because as humans, when we say only the strong survive, it's like you got to stay in your lane and do what you got to do for you in order to make it in this big world. It doesn't necessarily mean anymore in today's society that you got to, knock down the next man to make sure your bloodline keeps going on. Uh,
Right.
we're not in the animal kingdom. In the animal kingdom, yeah, they got to do that. But, in this world, um, especially in 2021, it should not be taking out the next man in order for your bloodline to move on or whatever the case may be. Because one of the things that I have a problem with when it comes to that is, um, and I can only speak for our communities is,
Right.
um, you know, the mentality that our men have when it comes to that is it's not always productive. It's always out of some, you know, drug thing, gang thing, um, flashing thing, and this, that, and the other. It's never productive overall to the community. So that to me causes certain issues where it's like it's bad enough we have a lot of external pressures and manufactured internal pressures, but to add that onto it, it's like, come on, man, you're just creating this realm to where it just don't doesn't make sense.
No, it don't, man. Cause I was been the type. I'm like this. I don't care where you come from, what you do. If you get money or you're successful, hey, I'm all for that. Do your thing, bro. I'm happy to see you have it. I don't give a damn, what your background is, what your field is. Do your thing. But there are certain, individuals they feel like because they have it like that, let me stunt and shit on everybody around.
Right.
Truth of the matter is, uh, your money don't mean shit. It really don't mean shit. It just means that you were good at a certain thing.
Right.
But as far as fronting on other men because I got this and I got that, I ain't got time for that shit. That's to me that's a feminine trait. It's kind of like grown ass men talking about other men.
Right. Right. Right.
What grown man got time to talk about another man?
Yeah.
Fuck out of here with that shit, man.
Yeah. 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 Oh man. Ladies and gentlemen, while we're into this conversation, excuse the technical difficulties. I think the Facebook link is acting crazy. So um, if you're following us on YouTube, definitely check out the Twitter link. Should be working. Leave your comments. I don't know what's going on with Facebook link. I'll have to mess with it after that. But we are talking about we're chopping it about intra and intercultural contradictions. Got Son Solex on the line. These technical difficulties is rearing their ugly head today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
um, so let's jump into some more meat of this conversation, and this is something that we kind of was going back and forth with yesterday.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
the N word, acceptable use for who and by who. Um, do you want to jump in and give your opinion on it first?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and chop it up first, man. What me and Soul Toucher were talking about yesterday was the fact that there's so many rappers and entertainers out here calling each other by the N word, and it's kind of like if you don't want to be called that word or by that word, why are you expressing that word in your music or your art or your craft or whatever the case may be? And it's kind of like when you see other people, other cultures use that word, whether they're rapping a song or they're referring to each other, using that word. It's kind of like, how can you be upset with them for using that word when, unfortunately, there are so many people who have made that word popular.
Mm-hmm.
So, I can't sit up here and point the finger at anyone without pointing the finger back at myself because I use the word.
Right.
And again, when I use the word, I use it affectionately or with love, or um, I'm coming from a place of I've been there before. I kind of know that side of the tracks. Um, so within our cultures, we use it as an affectionate word.
Mm-hmm.
But when I hear someone of a different culture use that word, and again, um, nothing against that person individually, but I check their ass right then and there. Like, if you gonna use that word, get the fuck out from around me
Mm-hmm.
because you don't know me like that. And no, I'm not your end. We, I don't give a damn who you married to or related to or however you want to put it. But if you don't come from my background or you don't look like I look, don't even come to me with that word.
Mm.
And I know some people will say, well, that doesn't make any sense. You use that word. You're damn right I use that word. But I use that word around my friends and my associates. And we know what it is. But if you're from a different culture and you call me by that word, to me that means you want that smoke. So
Well,
you know,
um, so for me, um, I used to get offended by people using that word. Um, then I got to the point where it's like, all right, whatever. Um, and of course, you know, we'll get a little pushback for saying, well, why would you let them say that? Because we've been through this, we've been through that, and they shouldn't say this, they shouldn't say that. All right, now taking that from face value, I kind of get what a person is saying, but at the same time, you know, we glorify the word. Um, we use it in everyday vernacular. Um, and the crazy thing about it is, although we use it as a term of endearment, a lot of times we try to act like we don't use it as a term of endearment because we can sit around and look at someone and say, that stupid ass N word. And it's like, it's not a term of endearment. We really mean that stupid ass N word. Um, so, I, and then, and here's the other thing, a lot of other people will say, yeah, well, just because we could use it that way don't mean they could use it that way. And it's like, what is the difference? Color of skin does not make it any different. If you are degrading someone in any kind of way using that word, that's just what it is. It don't matter if it's your mother calling you that, because I've been said that by family members when I was coming up. um, I've been said that, I have friends, girlfriends, or whatever say that to me. So it's like, if you honestly feel like other people should not be using it that way or using it at all, then we shouldn't be using it ourselves. And like Son Solex was saying, we were talking yesterday about it. We have these entertainers, rappers, singers, TV, movies, or whatever using the word. And it's like, my example was, a DMX song. Um, you know, when he used the word. Now you got people of all backgrounds who love these songs and particular DMX songs, and that word is right there. It's like, so you expect someone to change the lyrics to pacify you because you don't think they can say that word? It's like, that's crazy to me to a degree.
I'll put it like this, right? We all know that people of different cultures use that word. We know this.
Right.
They use it, with their family, with their friends, whoever the case may be. But it's kind of like the consciousness of it when you're around people um, of melanation.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what the fuck you mean by that. Again, I don't give a damn if you rapping it in a song. If you are around someone who's indigenous to this land that carries that darker hue, you should be mindful of using that word. Because ask yourself this, right? How many times have we heard other people or other cultures refer to themselves as whatever is a derogatory word in their culture? It's very freaking rare that I can't even name one song where someone from a different culture has referred to themselves in a manner such as that.
I would say because they have common sense
Exactly.
and respect for each other.
Definitely. So again, we have gotten to a place where we certain people feel it's okay if other people from different cultures use that word because we use that word. But ask yourself this: how many people from different cultures have faced the same damn struggles we have? Our ancestors have gone through all the shit we've gone through in this country. Not saying that people of other cultures haven't gone through shit. I'm not saying that at all. Please don't misunderstand that or misconstrue that. But the thing is, your walk and your culture has not gone what we've gone through. So you can't relate to the shit we've gone through. So again, the only thing I'm saying is I can't control you from using that word around your family and your friends. But if you're in the presence of someone who looks like me, just be mindful of it. That's all.
But see, to what you're saying though, um, we don't necessarily witness other cultures talking about each other in those derogatory forms. So we kind of cannot hold them accountable for that. Um, that falls back on us because if we're doing it and we're constantly doing it and we know the impact of it, we understand the impact of it, we understand the history of it, then we should stop doing it, especially if we don't want them doing it, because it's not their fault that we make these songs with those words. It's not their fault that they like these songs that we make with those words. It's our fault that we're doing it and we're presenting it to the world. The biggest consumers of our music is not necessarily our people. So if we're appealing to the masses, whether it's music, TV, movies, whatever the case may be, then really the responsibility is on us. Um, because if you look at it like this, if your child is growing up, they don't know better. But if they see and hear you doing something and they're imitating you, whose fault is it? It's not the child's fault. It's your fault for teaching your child that or exposing your child to that. So and then you can't scold your child for doing it and saying it when it's like, okay, you scold your child for saying or doing certain things, but then you turn around and do it again and again and again and again. And your child looks at you and be like, well, I got in trouble for doing that, but mom or dad keeps doing this over and over again. So that's the same thing with other cultures when it comes to us using that word in songs. It's like you'll have these groups, these movements, and this, that, and the other. Well, they can't say this, they can't say that, but yet we still make songs that say this and say that, and we expect them to not rock with the song. And it's like, and another thing, we have to get off our high horse and not say, well, I don't know what context they're using it in. Well, goddamn it, if they're rapping a song word for word, you know what context they're using it. They're rapping that song. So who are we to get mad?
I don't think it's a thing of getting mad. I think it's a thing of respect.
But that goes back to us not respecting ourselves.
But here's the thing, though. For for example, if you know how you were speaking on, we do things around our kids, and then we get mad at our kids for doing the things they see us do. Again, that's our fault as the elders. because we're repeating the same thing, in front of this child, and this child is taking that on. But it's not for you to scold your child; it's for you to teach your child. Meaning, when you do things and they pick up on it, if you don't stop your child and have a conversation with your child about why you do what you're doing, whether it's right or wrong, that child doesn't understand. So it's your job, my job, our jobs as the parents, the older people, to teach those kids why we're using that word, what's the reference behind using that word, and at least let the child know, you know, what comes with using that word. So then, if the child uses that word, at least they're conscious of them using that word. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, but again, if it's something that we don't want our child to do, and let's bring this back to the conversation, if this is something that we don't want people of other races to do, then we should not do it. Because again, we're talking about teenagers, adults, and whatever the case may be. And they know the history of that word, period. Nobody on this planet who uses that word is blind to the fact of the history of the word. My thing is, when they see us continuously doing it, and when they see us in interviews saying, "Oh well, I said it this way, so it's not the er, it's the a at the end, and I use it as a term of endearment, and this, that, and the other, and it's okay." It sends mixed messages, and it's like, again, you cannot send mixed messages. It's either the word is okay or it's not okay. Period. There's, to me, there's no blurred lines in it at all. There are no blurred lines. Now, we all know the difference in using it as a term of endearment and using it derogatory. We know the difference between reciting a song word for word and someone just throwing it out there just to throw it out there. We know the difference. We can't pretend that we don't know the difference. So my thing is this: if we as a culture have a problem with other cultures using that word, we should not market it and promote it like it's a brand new car all the time. Period.
I'm not disagreeing with you. Um, Let me give people a little bit of homework to do, right? Look up the word Niji. Niji. Just look up that word Niji, not the N-A or the E-R, but the Niji. You'll be surprised what you find. But getting back on topic here, if we're talking about not using that word at all, that's all it's going to be is just talk. Because the simple fact is, we know that certain people within our culture is not going to stop using that word.
Right.
They're not. And again, it is what it is. Um, and I'm not hating on anyone for loving rap songs that have those words in, those songs. Um, some of those songs are real classics as far as I'm concerned.
Hmm.
But again, I think it's kind of like you're asking other people to have respect for you when you don't have respect for yourself.
Bottom line.
So again, we could go back and forth about the context of that word, the history of that word all day. But again, the thing is that I'm trying to make a point of being mindful of when you use that word, because it's kind of like this, right? How I see it. If I come into a public square or public arena and there's a kid there listening to his headphones or his uh, phone, listening to music, and he's reciting those words. I came into his space.
Right.
He was there first. So at that point, I could either check him or I could just move back out of his space because he was in that space first. But if I'm sitting in that space first, meaning whether it's a public park or at a benching them all, whatever the case may be. And you come across my path and you're saying that word, I'm gonna check your ass.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, you're gonna be mindful within my space of using that word because it's not okay. And it's not okay for me to come in your space calling you outside of your race name. You dig what I'm saying? Or, some derogatory term, even if it's in a song.
Right. I got two more points to make on this, and
All right.
then and I want to get your opinion after it.
Okay.
So my first point, it kind of goes to what you were saying. Um, being mindful, because let's just say, all right, whatever. It's in a song, you say it. But one problem that we have with that is people getting too comfortable with it and just throwing it out there all willy nilly. That's one thing, and that pretty much goes on to what you're saying about being mindful of it. The other thing is, um, it's funny to me that as acceptable as the word is and has been for quite some time, and like you said, we use it. Um, it's funny that, and you were talking about in a public space. I could be in a public space, and although I use that word amongst friends or whatever the case may be, if I see someone come through yelling or saying that word or playing their music out loud using that word, I get offended by it.
That's that part of it though. That's that part of it. Because like it's crazy, right? I'll be out going somewhere, in my personal vehicle or my work vehicle, whatever the case may be. And I can see a kid pull up next to me at a light, blasting,
Mm-hmm.
someone that has those words, and he's vibing with the music, and he's, bobbing his head and on and on. But it's kind of like I get it
Mm-hmm.
because at that moment in time, he's not he's not identifying with that word. He's identifying with the song.
Right.
I mean, it could be a party song or a gangster song or whatever the case may be. But one thing he knows is I'm vibing with this song right now. And I
Mm-hmm.
got my music turned up to the last knob.
Right.
And I don't give a dang who I offend.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like I have to respect the fact that he's in his space right now.
Right.
But I mean, we all, as indigenous people, we love music. Some of us more than others. But when a beat comes on and a song comes on that we vibing with, like whether we bragging about going to get a piece of booty or um, more money, more problems, or buying a new car or whatever the case may be, even though you're not exactly living that life, it's that vibe and that music, the rhythm, the sound, the vibration of it, it relates to you. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain songs you just relate to,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's talking about some shit you'll never do in your life, or it's something talking about your day to day life.
Right.
So, um, yeah, I get it, but I can't knock somebody for being in their own space. I guess.
Yeah, and I was making that last point about it. Like if I'm out in public and I hear it, I kind of look around and gauge the whoever's around, and it's like everybody is appalled at hearing it out loud. um you might have a few people bob their head to a song or whatever, or look at, if it's a group of people, boys or men using the word, they'll look and they won't say nothing. But it's interesting enough that if you're in a public space where you hear that music or that word out, gauge the crowd real quick and look at the reaction of people. A lot of people get they get tight faced and like, God damn, they really saying this word or playing this word out loud. But
Yeah.
a lot of us be like, we'll go back in our little worlds and we throw the word around like it ain't nothing.
We do that. We do that.
And that goes to the topic of this show, intra and intercultural contradiction. It's a big damn contradiction when it comes to that stuff, man.
It is. It is. It really is. Um, Unfortunately, though, we as a society we've fallen into damn near trends of everything is backwards. What once was acceptable is now, damn near offensive.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning how there was a time where um, you couldn't wear certain things to church. Just as an example, and I'm not picking on any particular group of people, but there's a certain time you can wear certain things to church,
Mm-hmm.
and you can come as you are,
Right.
whether that's inappropriate clothes or not, just come as you are. So
Yeah.
um, it's just for me, it's just one of those things that we as a people, again, I'm talking about all people, we have to stop going along with the programming. Meaning, just because the news say it's cool or the internet say it's cool or it's acceptable, if you don't relate to it or if you can't vibe with it, that's okay. It's fine. It's kind of like saying, um, I see it for what it is, but I don't have to be all right with it
Right.
because someone else is telling me I have to be all right with it. No, no, the hell I don't. I don't have to be cool with it. But that don't mean I have to get upset about it every time I see it. No, I'm going to do that. I don't have that kind of energy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like you as an individual, you have to uh, determine how much emotional interest you want to invest into whatever it is you find offensive or you find, that you want no part of.
Right. 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 So, with that said, we're gonna move on to the next one, and
All
that
right.
is the B word. Does context really matter? What do you have to say on this one? Opening up,
Oh man, you know,
because
we
we
gonna
talked
go.
about this yesterday too.
Yes, yes, we did. Um, Let me put it out here like this first, right? Again, I respect all women, no matter what your background or whatever the case may be. Do your thing. But women will refer to themselves by the B word and then get mad at you for even mentioning the word.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, so how in the hell do that make sense? It's kind of like how Britney Spears used the word in one of her songs. Britney, B. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But everybody was cool with it because Britney said it.
Right.
But then there were, a hell of a lot of backlash and pushback when certain rap groups used the word.
Mm.
So it's kind of like, again, you want to pick and choose when it's okay. You know what I'm saying? You want to pick and choose when it's okay.
Right. Right. Just like the N word.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I use the word. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna, say no. Hell no. Anybody that know me know I will spit one of those out, just like I'll spit the N word out. But I'm not saying it in a way to be mean. I'm like, that's B's crazy, joking. I would never call a female that word mean to her face, or I don't care how mad I get. I'm not gonna use, that word to describe the female I may be having a disagreement with.
Mm-hmm. Not out loud, anyway.
No, not out loud. In my head. In my head, I might be going off, but I don't know. I just think that when it comes down to that word, how can you be mad when you use that word so loosely amongst each other? And it's okay for you guys to call each other that, but a man could be talking about something completely and totally different. Like, man, that's effed up, or that was such a beat that happened to so and so and so and so. So then it's a problem if he uses it, even though he's not even referring to a female by using that word. But I don't know. It's just crazy to me. Do I feel we're gonna stop using that word, society? Hell, nope, not gonna happen. It's just like saying we're gonna stop using the N word.
Right. Yeah. It's funny how that word has been looked at as so derogatory. I think at times worse than the N word, but um when it's being used by women amongst women, a lot of them are cool with it. And it's like if a man joins in the conversation because he's cool with them and he said like he dead wrong, he about to get like 50 daggers thrown at him. Um, and then it's like if women use it in songs, it's all cool, but men use it in songs, some people get in the uproar. Um, if a woman is reciting a song made by a man that has the word in it, it's cool, but soon as they get called one, it's a problem. Um, I think it's just crazy.
I do too.
And like we were talking yesterday, let's just say it's a group of females of mixed races, several different races. In that group, because they're friends, it's okay for them to call each other that. But let someone outside that group call one of them that, and it's a problem. That contradiction right there blows my mind because it's like if you with your close friends and y'all using it, um, and someone outside your group refers to one of y'all as that, why are you getting mad? And it's like even if they're not saying it in a nasty way,
Right.
help me understand how you get mad at that.
I don't get it. I've seen um, men from the rainbow community use that word
Oh my God.
referring to each other,
Mm,
and they seem to be fine with it.
right.
So I'm like, okay, well, you fine with it, then you rock with it. But again, it's just one of those words where society wants to pick and choose when it's okay to use it
Hmm.
and when they want to be in their feelings about it.
Right. 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 And just like with the N word, you can have, let's just say you have a group of black girls or a group of white girls or Hispanic girls or whatever the case may be. They'll use that in their group, but let a woman of a different race or background say it, it's a problem. Again, contradiction. Why is that a problem? And you were talking about you would never use that, in a negative way to a woman out loud. Um, but does race or gender really exclude a person from using it?
No, it don't. So there are certain parts here in the South where I've heard grown men refer to themselves or each other like that,
Mm,
and I look at them like they damn crazy.
right. Yeah, because men call each other that.
Yeah, like when and where did it start being okay to refer to another grown man as a B, and him not be offended by that? I mean, I don't know. I can never see myself referring to another man by that word unless he's acting that way, um, meaning his attitude. So I don't know. It's just crazy to me. I never thought that I would see a day where grown men, I mean, straight grown men, will refer to each other or to each other like that. And it's cool. Like, I don't know. All I know is I would hope I wasn't getting my feelings about it. Somebody used that word towards me, but I'm damn sure finna, you know, we men over here. We don't do that.
Right. I'll say like this. I get where you coming from. Um, like referring to a man with that is like, okay, let me put it this way. And it's two sides to how I'm gonna put it.
Right.
If I'm saying you're a B or you acting like one, it's because one, yeah, you're acting like one, your attitude, your actions, and I'm not saying your demeanor, like your like let's just say you're acting like a woman, um, and you identify as a woman and you're a man. Exclude that. I'm saying if you cry, you're a grown man, you crying, whining about stupid stuff. I'm gonna say you acting like a B, um, straight up. Or I'm gonna say you are a B because that's what you're acting like. Um, if I have a problem with you, meaning we are at the point where we about to come to blows, I'm gonna call you a B. Like if I have a problem with you, I'm gonna call you that because at this point it's like there's no love lost between us, and I'm about to go in on you, or I just can't stand you. Now, amongst friends, I've used that amongst friends, and we've used that because it's either being funny or you said something stupid, um and it's not negative thing, and it's not like I'm saying, oh, this is my B, or B, come over here. Nah, it's not thrown around so freely. It's like, B, you stupid, or something like that, but it's never in the context of how women do it,
Right.
because we as men, we identify with I guess we identify that with referring to females, um and I'm not saying referring to females in a derogatory way, because we all know that that's a female dog, but I think that word has more feminine connotation to it, whereas the N word has more masculine connotation to it. So
Right.
yeah, if I'm using that with some on to towards a man, it's like either you acting like one, you're being one, or I'm ready to go. We about to go throw blows.
For sure. Yeah, I could definitely see it in that light now. You know what I'm saying? When we about to go to blows, hey, all respect's off the table, bro.
All of it gone.
It's kind of like I'm purposely saying things to get on your nerve. I'm purposely saying things to take you there because at that point, evidently, we both want to smoke.
All of it.
Yeah, I get it in that context.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So moving on. Speaking on racial issues when you're not of the race, we touched on this a little while ago, but um, you know, we have a problem with other people speaking on our issues. Um, I know pretty much your uh, approach to this, so to speak. So I want you to give it to the people from your mouth.
Um, it's like this, right? We all, as people, have our own um, ethnicity issues,
Hmm.
but when it comes down to ours, I think our struggle is different. I'm not gonna say more difficult, but I'm gonna say different, um, and that's only to be politically correct.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like how getting your feelings when whatever the other person from a different race is saying is true.
Right.
So, for example, if someone said from another race, y'all can't even get along with each other. So how are y'all supposed to get money like that? There are plenty of cases, where a statement like that is true,
Mm-hmm.
but there are plenty of cases like that where that's false also, because not all of us are out here, hating on each other for flourishing in life.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm the type of person, if I see someone get money, hey, do your thing. Much congratulations. I've had friends who own businesses, and I'll come in and help them do whatever. If that's just sweeping the floor or taking out the trash or hell, helping them with customers or whatever the case may be. And I never charge them not one fucking dime
Mm-hmm.
because I want to see my friends be prosperous. You know what I'm saying? I want to see them in a better light.
Right.
So, um, when it just comes down to us and our issues, we have so many freaking issues. But people of other cultures have their issues too.
Right.
But again, it's kind of like you can't get in your feelings. You have to realize you're talking to someone who, again, they're not a part of our culture. They're not a part of where we came from, as a group of people.
Mm-hmm.
So you're more than welcome to express, what you think you may know, or your personal opinion. But that don't mean me as an individual I have to agree with it. It's just a statement.
Yeah. My thing is this: if you have any type of knowledge of what goes on in a different culture, then there's nothing wrong with you giving your opinion. Um,
Right.
because who am I to say that one person can't speak on black issues? I follow this guy named Tim Wise on Facebook, and he speaks on black issues. He's been speaking on them for years. Um, and I think a lot of, and I hear this a lot from a lot, especially from rappers, where they talk about someone not being qualified to speak on certain issues. Like, how do you disqualify them from speaking on black issues when you have the audacity to speak on white issues? It's like that's that contradiction that just blows my mind, because
Right.
most of us who have graduated high school, been to college, whether you got a degree or not, been on this planet for more than 20 years or whatever the case may be, you are qualified to speak on damn near anything that you've experienced in your life, whether it's black issues, white issues, Native American issues, Hispanic issues, European issues. Um, like, nobody can tell me not to speak on whatever I want to speak on if what I'm speaking on is accurate, or if I'm speaking in an inquisitive way, meaning I want to understand what is going on. So you can't tell me I can't speak on the issue. That's just like, you know, with religion. It's like, who are you to tell me I can't speak on this when I'm speaking from my experience with it? So if I experience certain things with Caucasian people, I'm qualified to speak on that issue. If and I'm not, what I'm not going to sit there and pretend to do or do is speak about that entire race or that entire culture, because therefore I would not be qualified to do that. I can speak on what I've witnessed, what I observed, what I know, what I've learned, what I've been taught, and so forth. Outside of that, it's whatever. But
Right.
when people speak on our issues, I really, for the most part, if they're not talking stupid and retarded, um, I give them the room to have their opinions or say whatever they say, whether it's factual 100% or not, because a lot of the times we put ourselves on display or in the crosshairs for some of this criticism that we get. And if we don't like it, then change. If we're not going to change, then why get mad?
Exactly. Again, I think that that's the main part of it. Um, is that people, again, going through their personal experiences and observing the things that they've observed in their lifetime. I mean, our culture and the progression we made and the backslides or the, you know, not the best steps, as they say, as far as going forward. They're entitled to their opinion. They're entitled to, state their what they think is their truth or what they feel is their truth.
Mm-hmm.
And again, sometimes we get so sensitive about, people stating what they see about our group of people that, some of us, we tend to take it in, not a positive light,
Right.
even though they may not even be speaking about it like that. Again, they're only giving you their opinion about what they've observed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think the biggest thing that some people have a problem with is, though, that people from other cultures are getting paid off of our culture. Kind of like, how Little Richard at one point didn't own his masters until Michael Jackson bought his masters and gave them back to him.
Mm-hmm.
So all the songs or the music Little Richard put out, he wrote, arranged, some of them he produced. All that stuff that he produced or, gave the world, the universe gave to him. And he wasn't allowed to make money off of his own art. And I think that's again the thing that we have a problem with is people making money off of our culture who are not from our culture.
I
You
think
know what
that.
I'm saying?
Go ahead.
No, no, I'm done.
I think to what you're saying, in the past, yes, I can definitely agree with you. In these days, I think that's our own fault.
Yeah,
Um, because like they say, if you know better, you do better.
exactly.
And because our culture is so small minded to a degree in certain areas, um, you know, hungry for like money or fame or attention or this, that, and the other, they don't really take the time to invest in what you were just saying. But then
Right.
on the back end, they get mad about, oh, they're making money off our backs, this, that, and the other. But shit, you're allowing it. Like, you should know better at this point.
Exactly.
Um, so if you know better, then damn it, you better do better. But with that, um, and to tie that back into people speaking on our things, it's like we sell it to them, like we are selling them the blueprints for them to speak on our issues.
Yeah.
So if we're selling that to them, we somewhat can't be mad that they're speaking on it.
No, you can't. The funny thing about our culture is, though, man, we inspire so many other cultures. Like they see what we do, and replicate what we do to a certain extent, but they take it and change it and make it apply to their culture. Um, and I get that. And I'm not saying that our people are the starters or the inventors of everything here in the world. It's just that we're colorful people, and I'm not talking about our skin color. Um, we are great inventors, songwriters. I mean, the list goes on and on. But it's kind of like some of the greatest inventors in the world didn't make damn near a dime off some of the things they invented. Take for instance the stoplight. Stoplight was invented by a melanated man, but I'm sure his family or his generations after him, they haven't seen one dime for that. So it's kind of like we're at a place now where, again, like you're saying, if we can't take advantage of our own um, crafts or our own inventions or our own art, then it's kind of like, how can you bitch and complain about someone else making money off what you're doing? It's crazy. We so many times want to point the finger at other people and other cultures when in fact we should be pointing that same finger back at ourselves.
Yeah, but the problem, another problem when it comes to this about speaking on racial issues when you're not of the race, we get mad when people speak on our racial issues, but
Right.
it's funny. A lot of our people paint the Caucasian race with a broad brush. Like a lot of our people have a problem or the audacity to lump every Caucasian into one bucket and say all of them are like that. And it's like, how dare you say that? It's like, what experiences have you had where you can say, well, all of them are like that and all of them do this and all of them do that? And it's like, nah, you can't say that because um if it wasn't for some of them, some of us wouldn't be where we are. Um, our people do the same with Hispanics. They do the same things with Jews. They do the same thing with um, Africans. Um, but we're not of those races or those cultural backgrounds. But we have the audacity to speak on those issues as if we're experts on other cultures because of what we've been through, which is far from the case. We have our own experiences, but that doesn't give us the right to tell others who are not of our race not to speak on our issues. And that doesn't give us the right to be able to speak on everybody else's issues because at the end of the day, if we have a problem speaking with other races speaking on our issues, then we should not say anything about anybody else, period.
I agree with that, man. I really do. Um, I feel at the end of the day, we're all just humans trying to get through, this life experience of whatever it is we're experiencing as individuals. But when we start separating ourselves based on our racial background, and we throw the whole, we're all humans out of the window, I think that's part of our biggest mistakes. And again, I'm not saying we're all supposed to be damn roasting s'mores and singing kumbaya and all that. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I think that at some point you got to have compassion for the next person as a human being.
Right.
So again, take the whole race thing out of the equation and just see them as a human being.
Yeah, pretty much.
Um, Again, we have so many issues within our own culture. It's kind of like we get mad at other people for sweeping up our front door, around our front door before they sweep up around theirs.
Yeah, true.
when,
True that. True that. True that.
when all actuality, hell, we need to be out there sweeping right along with their ass.
Right. Yeah, man. That's what it is. But we're gonna wrap this up right here. We still got some more talking points on this, but if you want to hear the rest of this conversation, it's gonna be up on Apple Podcasts in probably like a week or so. So make sure you make sure you jump on that subscription because the rest of this conversation is gonna be unchained, so to speak. So definitely get that Apple subscription going because we got to finish up this conversation. But we're gonna wrap this up for tonight. Thank you for those who have joined us. Forgive us for the technical difficulties, but like I said, we will be here every week, 7:30 p.m. live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Life willing. Yes, we had technical difficulties, but we still here. You got us on 2 of the 3 platforms, but we here. Son Solex, what else you got for the people?
Only thing I'll say again, if you guys want to, suggest some topics, or if you want to come on the show, as usual, you guys can reach us at KingAndEyeLife369@gmail.com. And again, you guys can reach out, to our personnel platform. And I want to let my brother shout that out to you right quick.
Yes. Look, go ahead and hit us up on www.KingAndEyeLife.com. That's the official website for our podcast where you can leave us reviews. You could get links to our videos. You got links to our podcast episodes. Definitely follow us on whatever podcast platform that you subscribe to. Hit us up on all of them social media platforms, #KingAndEyeLife podcast. I want to give another shout out to Chicken and Rice Podcast. Go check them out. Their last episode is dope. Go hit my man up, Justin Featherstone. The OLOT parking lot. Go check him out. Also, Purple Gala. Get ready for that 2022. Who got the golden ticket? So it's a lot of things coming up. So stay tuned. We're going to keep dropping the information for you. Definitely, if you are a ruck bag lover like I am, I got the ruck solar pack and the ruck sling pack. The new limitless duffel is coming out soon. I can't wait to get my hands on that. So other than that, I don't have anything else. Son Solex, what you got?
I'd say again, we want to thank our listeners around the world. I mean, our numbers are increasing and have shot up damn near like a bullet. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, we just want to thank you guys for tuning in and listening, and again to help out our platform grow. We're just most appreciative.
Yes. And with that said, it's me, Soul Toucher the Poet, and with my brother,
Son Soleil.
and we are out of here.